How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another Killmark Collectors. I'm Brandon, and as you can tell, I'm not in my normal office and studio. I'm actually getting married this week, and so I'm not going to be playing much for the next 2 weeks or so. And so I've been thinking a lot about kind of the changes that are coming to the game, particularly with scanning, and how I can set myself up while I'm away to really be able to kind of position myself to start taking advantage of some of the new releases and features that are going to be coming out in early to mid-June. What I thought I'd do today, just very quickly, is kind of walk you through my thought process, where I think scanning is going to go, and how you can also start positioning yourself and start making some ISK as soon as scanning actually goes live. So with that, let's undock and get started. Scanning is probably one of the things that I've been most excited about for the last 3 to 4 months whenever they first announced it. And it comes with a lot of really interesting options, both PvP and PvE. Now, we don't know much about it yet. There has been a few teasers, if you will, that the devs have put out. And we actually got a big dump of information last week in the form of screenshots and a kind of an FAQ document. Now with this, we still don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I'm going to make some educated guesses, and like I said, go ahead and start using some of the tools that are available to us now so that I can be ready when that scanning update drops. Now, I'm going to again preface this all by saying that this is all speculation at this point unless I explicitly say something has been stated by the devs, but even with that, do keep in mind that they have made their appropriate caveats about it being in a dev environment, still under development, still under QA, so it could change. That being said, I'm going to cover 3 main areas today: the ships that I think are going to be best for scanning so that you can start looking at those and positioning them, the skills that you're going to need, and then at least one way that you can definitely start making some money as soon as it drops, and how you should start positioning yourself there. I'm going to put a time code for all 3 of those down below, so if you want to skip ahead, feel free. So let's start with the ships themselves, and this one is going to be probably the most up in the air at this point. I'm just going to go into the Glinte here, and if we actually check out the T10 frigates, we do have these new Explorer frigates that we just got with the new balance update, and you can see down here that they've got a couple of key and interesting things that are going to be coming into play. Now, first off, you can see that the scan res on the Amicus Explorer here gets a 10% bonus for scan resolution. It also gets this +1 scan strength, which we don't really know what that is yet. What I'm kind of hoping is that the scan resolution paired with the scan strength are going to be how quickly we're able to scan down ships and how many scans we're able to have active at one time. Now, NetEase has said that they have a detection radius and a source radius. Those are going to be separate from the signature radius that we have today, but I think that it's going to at least partially involve the scan res, and so we'll talk about that more in just a minute. The other thing that's in here is the scan strength. And again, we don't know exactly what this is, but looking at the screenshots that the devs provided, they have timer cooldowns for those PvP and PvE scans. I'm kind of hoping that what this scan strength does is it allows you to have multiple scans at once. So for example, you could have if you had Advanced Frigate Defense 5 here, you could potentially have up to 5 or 6 different scans. If, for example, any ship can run 1 scan and then you get an extra one per Advanced Frigate Defense here. So you could potentially run a scan, and then without having to wait for the cooldown, you could run a second one if you failed or if you went to another system, something like that. And so that might be where these are coming into play. Again, total speculation, I don't know, but because of this, I think it's important to call out. Now, with that being said though, if scan resolution is going to be very important, really the best ship at this point that we have access to is going to be the T5 Minmatar Probe Covert Ops. It does have a total scan res of 826 meters or whatever we're using here, but it's going to be basically giving us the highest possible scan res when we get all the bonuses and if you put rigs on it or anything else like that. I'm going to start buying a couple of these, positioning them in different spaces. Probably going to have one in null sec where I'm primarily live, and a couple in low sec areas where I know that mission runners are going to be for PvE purposes. In terms of fittings, I don't want to speculate at this point because we don't know exactly how it's going to work. However, we do know that these are going to be scanning mods. There's going to be two different varieties. So we'll probably be kitting out a probe or something like that specifically for either PvE or PvP. So just be thinking about that. Start kind of thinking about where you might position some of those ships. Again, like I said, I'm probably going to have at least 2, probably 3, where I can put these in different places so that I'm ready to go when scanning drops. Now that brings us to the second point that I want to cover, and that is going to be the skills that I think you're going to need. Now, if we go back into the idea that the T10 frigates are kind of our blueprint for this exploration and scanning, you can see here that, again, scan res and scan strength are going to be our key skills and stats that we need to be aware of. With that being said, I'm going to start working on the targeting skills, target management, advanced target management, expert target management, because as you can see, the advanced and expert target management in particular will give us that nice little boost to scan res, which again, I think will help us as we go down the road. We've gotten about 125,000 skill points just from some of the recent patches and maintenance downtimes, as well as that thank you gift of 100,000, so 125,000-ish skill points. I'm going to pair that with the million skill points that million skill point reset that we got as part of the balance update. I'm going to actually be taking my alt out of a lot of the small weapon types. That might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but he was primarily a Dictor pilot, and as a result of the balance changes and the nerf to interdictors, they're kind of toothless hounds at this point. So I don't really feel like I need the extra points in those different areas because I'm not going to be solo camping anymore. So with that being said, I'm going to pull those out. I'm going to save those million skill points, and then I'm going to eventually drop those into, again, target management, some of the frigate defense and things like that I'm going to need to get those bonuses. But I also want to call out that, again, we don't know what is going to happen. And so right now, I would highly recommend that if you take that million skill point free reset, you hold on to those points if you're looking to go into exploration. Again, just because we don't know, I think that we're probably going to see the skill points required here be around the 3 to 4 million mark. That's about what you need to get to Planetary 5.5. I think this might be similar to that in terms of scale. So if you can be saving up and getting some of those items, again, I think it's going to be very, very helpful. The other side of this is that as I'm recording this on May 14th, my birthday, by the way, you have about a month to go, most likely. You're probably going to end up with about 2 to 3 million skill points between now and then. And so again, just be very strategic in where you want to put those. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about here is the only confirmed way that we have to make money as a scanning and exploration pilot so far. Now we know that with scanning, we're going to open up new types of PvE, but the devs have also said that we are going to be losing access to some of the normal dead space anomalies. The way that you as a exploration pilot can do this is you can actually mark those locations and sell those bookmarks to your corp mates or to other people so that they can then go and run those. You can select any of these and you can click the add bookmark item. When you do this, you will see a bookmark little dialog box pop up. You can click on the hide location info, which I'd highly recommend, and then you can create that bookmark. It obviously costs 100,000 ISK, but if we go in now and we say, okay, I've got this bookmark, I can move this into my hangar and I can actually create, if I scroll down far enough, I can actually create a contract that I can then send to somebody and they can pay me for that bookmark. Now, this might seem kind of trivial, but if you think about the fact that a T10 dead space, at least in Garista's space, can be between 4.5 and 5.5 billion ISK, it's not unreasonable to think about saying, hey, I want a 5 or a 10% finder's fee for whatever you guys get. You know, again, that could be 250 to 500 million ISK. that's a nice payday for something that you just were able to go buy, scan, and then come and drop off. You almost have to think about this as a business, because you're going to be selling locations and basically asking people to speculate on what they're going to get. It's going to be very helpful to have corporate infrastructure and corporations kind of into this process to help manage it and keep people accountable. But you as an explorer are going to have to be a bit of a businessman to go seek out customers, people who you know are big ratters, who may not necessarily want to reskill into exploration, and have them, you know, help you basically create a pipeline almost for these bookmarks. You find a dead space, you reach out directly so that it's not broadcast on Alliance or corporate channels. They then have first dibs. They can go and run those dead spaces, again, feed you with some of those, some of that loot, or just some of the ISK as a buyback on the back end. Only way that this works, obviously, is based off of trust. And so it's going to be really important for you as a business person to do your best to get reviews and kind of, you know, build your reputation. And so starting to have some of these conversations ahead of time and say, hey, I'm going to, you know, start making bookmarks. Who's interested? Start doing some of that, start kind of building out that pricing structure so that people are aware of it and they don't get taken by surprise. It's just kind of good business, but it really applies here too. So hopefully this helps you guys. This is, again, some of the conversations, some of the things that I'm going to be thinking about going into the next couple of weeks. It's not something that you necessarily have to be on for hours playing to do. But again, I think that it's important to start having some of these conversations and thinking through the way that you're going to position yourself to really take advantage of some of these awesome new features that are coming out. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I do have a couple of other videos queued up for y'all while I'm going to be away from the iPad. I'll probably be on a little bit here and there, but try and take just a little bit of time to enjoy this next season of life. So if I don't respond to comments or anything like that, I appreciate y'all's patience. But this has been a long time coming. I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to talk to you guys more. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Have a great week, 2 weeks, whenever I see you next. And until next time, fly safe.